everyone, this is Sally with the Polka Dot Life. It is late in the afternoon on a Saturday and I just got my paper pumpkin kit. I'm anxious to dig into it, see what we have to work with, and come up with an alternate for all of you to create. I want to remind you that by the time this posts, I'm not exactly sure when it's going to post, but there will just be a few days remaining in celebration. I want you to be sure to get those items, those free gift rewards that you would get just for purchasing things that you normally probably would anyway. I just want to make sure you get those great things. I wanted to remind you that a great way to get some celebration rewards and some Stampin' rewards is to buy a prepaid paper pumpkin subscription. For the 6 month, I'm kind of suggesting this a little bit differently this time because we're going to be doing celebration twice this year. So I would suggest getting a 6-month prepaid subscription now, and that costs $114 for that prepaid subscription. Simply by adding a few other essentials, adhesives, paper, envelopes, those kind of things, you can get your order to $150, at which point you will get Stampin' rewards that equal $15, and then you will also get 3 celebration rewards. Or if you choose something at $100 level, you would get one of those and a $50 reward. So you see, it's kind of a fun way to double dip and get some of those great items. Of course, the best way to get those items is to join my team. Have a lot of fun. Earn a discount. It is time to flip that camera down. Let's get into our Bouquet of Hope, the February 2021 Paper Pumpkin Kit. Okay, let's cut into our kit. My kit was actually delayed a day or two, I think, because of the wet weather. I think it would have been here a little bit sooner, but we had those icy, snowy storms here in the south. Mine must have had a little bumpy ride. But let's open this up. I still like that even though my box is a little crinkled, that they do now shrink wrap it, especially for times like this throughout the year. Keeps our contents dry, and it keeps our products inside, which is what the most important thing is. Keeps those products inside safe and free from damage. Okay, we have a Mossy Meadow Stampin' Spot. I actually had to learn to love to appreciate Mossy Meadow. Okay, let's see. Have our Flower and Field Designer Series paper. There's a flyer about that for about celebration. And then it's talking about next month that we get a bonus. March is their birthday month, and so we get a bonus product usually. Sometimes it's stamp set. This year it's going to be 4 stencils and a stamping sponge for free. So that will be fun. Get something new to play with. Let's see here. I'm trying to see what I have close to my desk that I can use to show you our stamp set better. Well, I don't have anything that works really great, so let's do the top of the box. We have a great bouquet of flowers, a sentiment it's small, and so I doubt that you'll be able to see it on camera. It says, sharing in your sorrow, thinking of you, and wishing I could be there to hold your hand. Sorry for your loss. I'll always be there for you. And then just some little flowers. And I'm not sure. I guess these might be raindrops. I'm not really sure if they're just maybe an accent. I'll have to stamp them and see. And of course, have our signature tissue paper. And we're going to remove our box. Oh, I like what I see. Fun toys. I always seem to love their springtime kits. I don't know. Last year with the rain boots probably was my very favorite paper pumpkin kit of all time. I loved that one. Super. Looks like some Mossy Meadow, like a linen thread. And I think these are Mossy Meadow or black. Sometimes Mossy Meadow can come off really dark. And so I think they're Mossy Meadow sequins, small and large. That is great. I love that we have been getting these full-size Stampin' Dimensionals in our kit. They are wonderful. And you know I love a pretty envelope, especially when it's lined. We can either cut these apart and use that for our cards, or we can use them as envelopes, and they look really nice. But it looks like maybe Bumblebee, Mossy Meadow, and maybe Rococo Rose. We'll have to get to our flyer before I decide what colors those are. So we have some die cut words. Thinking of you. And you know, I think if you really were ambitious and wanted to cut some of these other languages up, you could probably mix them up and make some new words. And these are very pretty. Some gold foil, like a background piece. Super ornate, like a frame. Let's see, we have some card bases. It might be just Jade, I'm not sure. And I do think this is either Blushing Bride or Rococo Rose, I'm not sure. Let's see. Oh, so pretty. These are vellum. I love to work with vellum. And they've got beautiful gold foiling along the edges. Then we have some more. Let's see, are these die cuts or stickers? They are die cuts. And these are beautiful springtime bouquets. And then I love this color. Maybe it might be a Mary Merlot, I think. I love that color. And looks like some roses on this side. Looks like we have some sentiment tags and some glue dots. And then our chipboard that keeps everything in line. And then we have our flyer. And then our examples, the illustrations for the cards as they intended for them to be made. I do love them the way they are. I think they're gorgeous. I love particularly this one. I think is very pretty the way it is. Let's see what else we can find out. Of course, on the inside, they give you several directions. They give you a ruler if you want to measure out your linen thread. And then on the back, they always give us a few alternatives of their own that they like to do. And I think those are pretty as well. Lot of great ideas right here. It looks like they have cut up that vellum sheet here. I'm not sure if this is something from the kit. It looks like perhaps a die cut. And then these are just, looks like they've just used the stamp set from that one and did some other things from other sets to make their own card. So give me a few moments and I will see what I can come up with. Okay, I am back. I have come up with an idea that I really like for this card, and I just want to show it to you. We'll make it together as much as we can. I am bringing in the Ornate Layers set and some gold foil paper. If we had our magnetic plates available and working well for us, this would be good for those. But since we don't, I have taken some washi tape and secured this down on this side. You want to make sure that you don't get it over onto the portions that you will be using. And then this die is one that it just cuts in. It doesn't cut out this shape that you could pick it up and put it somewhere. It stamps that, or it cuts that into this piece of gold foil. So what I want to do is I am going to just line these up, and I'm probably just going to hold them in place with my plates. You could, if you had some washi tape that wasn't very sticky or something for a delicate surface, I definitely would recommend, taking that tape and patting it on your clothing and peeling it off a few times so that when the pressure of that machine pushes down, it doesn't put adhesive on this gold foil, or otherwise we would just put a big old strip of that across there if it was just on cardstock. But since it's on the foil, I do not want to do that. But I will take this over to my die cutting machine and I will be right back. And for eyeballing it, I think it probably turned out okay. Let's bring our Take Your Pick tool in and do some cleanup. If you could keep these taped down so that they didn't slide, you could probably run it through your machine twice and it would take care of all these things. But we don't want to do that when we didn't, because these things kind of jump around. We just simply take our little pokey end and go through. We also have the brush attachment for this, which would be great as well. I probably would not use it on the foil, again, just so I didn't mar up the surface here. But that would be another good option. Just loved some of these gold pieces in this kit. And I like to use elements of the kit, but I also like to use some things that aren't in the kit, that are just in our craft stash, to try to get you to think outside the box, to use some of the things that you have, so that if you want to, you can make the cards exactly as intended, or mostly as intended. Maybe you like all the styles but one or something like that. And you could take those elements and turn them into something else. All right, getting close here on the outside. And I'll probably find some more here as we move along that I have missed. Let me just take a quick scan. And probably the way we put this together, I would still be able to pop out the outside portions. The inside portions, I need to make sure that I have those all poked out and cleaned up. But I love how this die in the center just makes that impression, and it doesn't cut out as a piece. It cuts out, but it cuts out into that piece of paper. All right, let's gonna go over it this way just to make sure nothing's hanging. Okay, I think we're good. Let's clean up some of our little pieces of gold. My cats will enjoy all of those if I have some strays left behind. Now that we know that our piece is die cut and all of those little bits are out of our way, let's bring in our other materials. We have our basic white thick cardstock, and that is in the regular A2 size, and we are simply going to score that. And I have a couple pieces of Mossy Meadow. We are going to use our tape runner today. I don't have any of the Stamp and Seal. I ran out. And so we will be using the Seal Plus, but it really isn't necessary. Just the regular seal would work right. And we are just going to center this up on our cardstock. And again, like I say, if you don't press down, you generally have some opportunity to move it. And when it's only like 1/8 of an inch like this, it's sometimes can be a little tricky. Let's try this again. And let's bring, it is just a very scant 1/8 of an inch border. Okay, there we go. I will even give it a press on this side since we finangled it around a little bit. And I can feel on my cardstock, I have just a tiny bit of a ridge, and I am going to smooth that out. And we get that sometimes when we push down on our trimmer. It's really meant to be push and glide on our trimmer, and sometimes if we get in a hurry, we kind of forget about that. We are going to be working with this piece of vellum. It was my favorite piece out of this kit. And the reason we are going to use this tape runner is that vellum, well, you can use glue with vellum. Sometimes it can make it pucker, and the same goes with this gold cardstock. So I know that this center area is going to be covered. And so I am going to take our seal and go down the center. Okay, we have our tape runner in the center here. And this again is a very scant border. Of course, since we only have our adhesive on that one portion, it's considerably easier to put down that way. And let's also put tape runner on the back of our next piece of Mossy Meadow. And we're going to just fill in, or at least for the most part, and if you're working with just the regular seal, it is much more cooperative. It's just the Seal Plus is really, really strong. All right. So, and that could be off just a hair because we're going to cover it up as well. And we have our lovely piece of gold foil. And I think that I would like to put that up on dimensionals. And that also is a little gentler on this gold foil than if we were using either the tape runner or definitely better than liquid glue because it will pucker. I first thought about using that liquid glue, and then I knew that that was probably not my best choice. And I like a lot of dimensionals, especially when we can't put any down in this center portion. I think it's a lot better. Okay, and then we just bring this layer and place it on top. And isn't that just super elegant? Now, we of course could stick with our greetings in our paper pumpkin kit. You could change out your greetings and make it a wedding card or any of those sorts of things. I do think that it will make a beautiful sympathy card though. Let's bring in our Stampin' Pierce mat, which you can see I've already played with it because I've gotten my nice clean grid paper all dirty. But we want to, it takes a big block for this stamp actually. And we want to get this all nice and inked up. This is just so beautiful. And we're going to decorate the inside. I am going to come over and leave myself a little grace over here. If I misstamp my greeting, I can add layers to cover that up. And I know myself enough to know that that very well could happen. And you know, the more I sit and look at this, I kind of want to have some color on the inside. So we are going to hit the reset and kind of go a little different direction than what I thought. And I just want to, okay. I like to stamp mine off a few times. And you know what? I've got some ink on my block and I didn't bring my Stampin' Chamois over. So we are going to do this. I had to look. Yes, there is a dot at the end of that. Wasn't sure if that was just something on my block, but that actually does stamp that way. Okay, let's bring our punch in. Our tailored tag punch. I think that's what this is called. I'm not sure. It's one of my oldie but goodie favorites. It is in our annual catalog. And I wasn't sure how, when I stamped that, what was straight, how it kind of went. It's kind of a little wonky thing. Let's do it that way and see what we think. And then I'm going to take a piece of this Mossy Meadow and cut another one. Ribbon scissors. Ah, here we go. And we're going to just take, and you don't have to be super particular about it. We're just going to take a pair of scissors and cut up in the middle there. So we have our tag. Let's just put a little adhesive on this part and this part. We're just going to build. We're going to just think about how much maybe we want to peek out behind and just line up those edges. We'll turn it around and do the same on this side. And this trick works with a lot of our punches. Or sometimes if you just want a little peek, you can just make a little strip and flag the ends and go behind your sentiment. That works as well. But I think that that is going to look a lot better on our card. I could cut another one out and simply do the same on the ends. Let's see. Kind of like that one. I would put an additional piece, but since it's on the inside, I don't want to have a lot of dimension on the inside of our card. We'll just lay that there and look to be sure. And also, sometimes on these cards, we don't always know what to say. Sometimes it's just a really bad situation and you don't know what to say. So this kind of takes up a lot of room on that card. And so you really just need to sign your name. But I think it is really pretty on the inside. I love this stamp. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with stamping it and coloring it. I think that will be fun as well. I don't know that I want to put anything else on the outside of this card. I just think it might just take away. I just really like this simple, clean line. It's just very elegant. And then our greeting on the inside. I think that's really pretty. So we have these beautiful Mossy Meadow envelopes. So that's gorgeous. And then I also, because I might want to just keep this and use this with something in my kit or do another alternative, I just took this stamp and stamped on the front of this envelope, and I used our little flowers on the back of this one. I'll be honest, they're kind of weird that they don't, I don't know, they just seem like two very different types of flowers, but they do kind of play back to this flower. So that is another option there for your card as well. Do not forget that you have only until the I think it's the end of the business day on the 9th of March to sign up for next month's kit that features those free stencils and sponge. I think we'll have a lot of fun doing alternative cards with those. As always, remember to be kind, send a card, and do something creative. Bye-bye.